Alexander Fiske-Harrison is an author, producer and conservationist who lived and trained as a bullfighter for his book, Into the Arena, The World of Spanish Bullfighting. And he joins us now, and he's also another accolade he has is he was called handsome, very handsome by Patrick about 20 minutes ago.
A few other people in this office have called him other stuff as well, but we'll move on. So yes. Anyway, sorry, but just before we all get lost in your eyes, how bad is this for bullfighting, or is it a step forward? I don't know.
Well, these movements happen from time to time, backwards and forwards, and they have done. I mean, obviously, recently people have become more interested in animal welfare and animal rights, but I mean, they banned bullfighting 400, 500 years ago. One of the popes did, because about endangering human souls. You shouldn't take that risk with your body. And there is still a ban in Catalonia in Spain, for example. But bullfighting in general seems to keep going. And there's an element of politics about this. Mexico has a lot of other problems than bullfighting, but this is one you could solve with the sweep of a pen.
Is it actually as cruel as it may appear? So, you know, from a layperson's point of view, it does look pretty cruel.
It's a complicated thing. When I started writing my book, I came from an anti-bullfighting position, or when I started researching for it. I mean, I was, a member of Greenpeace, member of the WWF, had studied biology at university and animal behavior especially. I took a deep interest in it. In comparison to what else we do with animals, it is a lot less cruel. The argument about, is it cruel in totality? Yes, there is cruelty there, just as there is arguably in the riding of a horse, and there certainly is in abattoirs. I was slightly late for this interview because I was just rescuing a sheep that's out in our field out here, and that sheep doesn't meet a very pretty end. We talk about humane deaths, but at the end of the day, all actions that kill an animal, I would say, are definable as cruelty.
So is there a way then to do these sorts of things in a humane way, and what would that look like? Because, anything that involves sort of taunting animals and things like that always will come across, especially to a nation of animal lovers like in Britain, it will always come across as completely unnecessary.
Yes, indeed. But I mean, a lot of things, horse racing isn't necessary either. And yet the British love it. And horses die horse racing. It's one of those things. It's not our culture. I would never argue it should be brought over to Britain, but I take a very old-fashioned liberal perspective on these things. And when I weigh it up against the way in which we treat animals, which are slaughtered, we kill 3 million cattle a year here, and usually at 18 months old. A fighting bull lives to 5 years old. By law, they have to be between 4 and 6. They're reared wild in forests and meadows at 1/10 the population density of British cattle. That is paid for by the premium on their meat from the box office of the bull ring. So you scrap that, you're going to, you're just going to end up with cattle being raised for meat, dying at 1/3 the age, and the degradation of the countryside that would occur, because all of that classified farmland would turn into intensive farmland. And 1/5 of Spain's wild landscape, part of my other work is as a conservationist, 1/5 of their landscape is on bull ranches, and it's exclusively paid for by the box office of bull rings. So the pros and cons of this have to be weighed with very carefully and with quite a lot of nuance of mind.